Okay, so this is what we talked about in our last video here, the introduction to monomials, binomials, and trinomials and polynomials. And we actually introduced a little bit of factoring of some whole numbers here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into our topic for today, what we'd be talking about. If you guys have this notes already, I'm going to go ahead and delete these. Go ahead and erase these. If you don't have it, you can go back to the video before this one, which is Introduction to Quadratic Expressions, to factoring quadratic expressions, and you get all these notes from that previous video. Okay, so let's start off by talking about what the quadratic factoring form is that we're going to introduce today. Now, the form that we're going to actually be factoring in today is x squared plus bx plus c. Okay. What this form here says, actually, let me rewrite that. X squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so we're going to be factoring in this form here. Okay, this form is known as a quadratic. Okay, so we're factoring a quadratic because you see the highest power, or a term that we'll talk about later in here called the degree, the highest degree. The degree of this expression is 2, so therefore it's a quadratic. We'll talk about that when we get into polynomials. Okay, let's say that we have this expression here. Let's say we have x squared plus 7x plus 10. Okay. Pretty simple equation, expression here. And I said, fine. Now, if you remember from our previous video, this is how we'll compare that to this expression here to our last expression when we had 24 and negative 18. This here says, what number will multiply? What number will multiply to 10? It needs to multiply to 10. But add to 7. Well, it needs to multiply to a positive 10 and add to a positive 7. Well, first of all, the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to look at what we're actually multiplying. So what needs to multiply, which is this 10. And you're going to list the factors. Okay? So we're going to list the factors of 10. Well, we have 1 and 10. We have 2 and we have 5. We have a 3, no. A 4, no. A 5, yes, we already have it. A 6, no. A 7, no. An 8, no. A 9, no. And 10, yes. So we have everything that we can use as far as what we need to factor. Okay, so these are all the factors of 10. 1, 2, 5, and 10. Okay, so let's do something with this information here. Let's actually write this a little bit closer together. 10, we had, what were those factors? 1, 2, and 5, and 10. Okay, so these are my factors of 10 here. Well, we want to find two factors that will multiply to 10, which they are because they're factors of 10, but we want to find them that will add to 7. Well, let's look here. What will 1 and 2 add to 7? No, I'm sorry, I actually wrote these in the wrong color here. That 1 should go with the same color as my 10. 1 should go with my 10. And then this 2 here should go with my 5. There we go. Okay. Now, we want to basically get a get a factor of 10, which is 1, 2, 5, and 10, that will multiply to 10, that will not just multiply to 10, but also add to 7. Well, let's look. Let's take our pairs. That's why I have them color-coded, because we can take the greens and look, and we can also take the pinks and look, right? So, if we take our greens, 10 and 1, we know that'll multiply to 10, but will that add to 7? No, because 10 and 1, 10 plus 1 is 11. So that won't work. So we can go ahead and cross those out because we are done with those because they won't work. Okay? Now, only thing we have left is 2 and 5. Now, if 2 and 5 don't work, we call this expression non-factorable. We say it cannot be factored, okay? Now, we at least say it can't be factored in a real number system. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. 2 and 5. We already know 2 plus 5 is equal to what? 7. And 2 times 5 is equal to 10. Well, ding, 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 ding. Isn't that what I want? I want something. I want something that will multiply to 10, but also add to 7. So I found it. I found my two factors that I want, which are 2 and 5. Okay. Well, now that we have that information, let's go ahead and see how we can implement this. We already know that this is what we call, how do we identify this polynomial here? We identify this polynomial as a trinomial. If you remember from our previous videos, we actually identified it. We identified that as a trinomial. Okay, so what we can actually look for here is we have to actually factor this into the product of two binomials. Well, the product of two binomials basically means we're factoring this into a plus b times a plus b. Or, on the other hand, sometimes you'll have a minus b times a minus b. You also have a plus b times a minus a b. Or you'll have a minus b times a plus b. These are some of the things that we'll actually